How much training does air traffic control get for different types of emergencies? We'll have different emergency hot button topics for our recurrent class. In fact, this past recurrent class, it was about carburetor icing. Last year was the pedostatic system, really highlighting things that air traffic controllers may not really know about, but pilots may encounter those pretty frequently. And then, like once or twice a year, we'll actually go into the lab and we'll see like some other weird stuff, like explosive decompression or, attempted hijackings or things like that. But generally, whenever we're working an emergency in the real world, that may be the first time that we are ever working that type or style of emergency because the amount of problems that could happen are pretty infinite. And we have a checklist that we go through that can help somewhat, but really we're relying on the pilots to tell us what they need. Which is why I think sometimes air traffic control can be somewhat a little naggy to get information, because most of the time we're only able to help if we know what the problem is. We can't read a pilot's mind and we can't see your aircraft's instruments. All we see is altitude and airspeed. Now in the center, you've got about 100 controllers working a shift. So the odds of a controller there having experienced something that you're experiencing now as a pilot in an emergency is relatively high. And we'll go and get them and ask them, hey, can you help this controller with this problem? Whereas like a tower or a Tracon, you may not have as many controllers to pull from. But you know what actually kind of helps? Those video playbacks on YouTube about the emergencies. I imagine most people just watch those and are like, wow, that's terrible. That controller was mean to that pilot, or that pilot was mean to that controller. Or wow, both of those people did really well to get that airplane on the ground. But as a pilot or a controller, I would charge you to look beyond the surface level. I would say, look underneath. What coordination is happening? What is going on in the situation? We can then learn from and bring to our own operations. Because even if you haven't experienced that situation yet, you can still learn from it, log it away, and if that ever happens to you, you have somewhat of an experienced viewpoint on that. Let me know your thoughts and comments down below, and don't forget to follow for more.